All right, let's go over this just so people. We've all seen this symbol before. Okay, what it really is it's three concentric rings. You don't see it, it's because each ring, there's actually a fourth one that goes on the outside of this. So there's actually 4 rings. So that sometimes they connect it with a box around here. Okay, but if you were to look at this and you were to tilt your head from one side to the other, you would wind up seeing this. You'd start seeing that there was depth to these instead of just being two-dimensional. If you tilted your head, you'd start seeing that there was a ring here, a ring here, and a ring here. And then there's another one that runs, it would be like this. You see? It'd be like this. So all I've done is I squared this off. Because this really is disguised as this. So these would actually be rounded. That would be rounded. You got this round here, and then you got one that would be going this way. Okay? So you wind up with this. This is how they disguise this thing. So we look inside of this thing, and this has, I believe, 9 sides. It's 9 sides. This is the cube. And so here you can see on the inside you have the seal of Solomon. Then it makes a 6-pointed star, and then on the inside, if you fold these tabs, you get the cube, which is this cube right here. Okay? So if we go back to this, all of this is stemming from this. This is what all it is. It's all the same picture. Okay? That comes from this. This is the biblical story of Ezekiel's wheel. Okay? So let's get a description of what Ezekiel's wheel is. So we look here. Here's a description. The appearance of the wheels and their work was like unto the color of beryl, and they had 4 one likeness in their appearance. And their work was as it were a wheel within the middle of a wheel. Okay, well, that's pretty much what this is. Okay, so it's a wheel within a wheel and within a wheel. Okay, sometimes you see it like this. Isn't it interesting? They show an angel with this around it, because it all goes back to this. And then it goes back to this, and this is this, and this is this, and that's that. And because this is the wonderful thing that the coroner said, you know, one can only assume that that's what he was saying. If we look, here's a guy's channel here. Now, when somebody's got a channel like this, I look at it all right away and already know that it's bullshit. Because the guy would have had to pick that, would have had to know what that symbol is, right? And so I can't show you his channel name, but we know that the cube represents 9. 9 is always the cube. It always is. Can't never be 10. Because once it gets 9, it goes 0 and it starts all over again. So when you look at this guy's page, we know that his page looks exactly like this thing on the floor here at Sandy Hook, right? Which is really this thing here with this circle around it, which becomes this, and then this, and then this, you know, and then winds up being this. And there's a certain group of people that walk this planet that claim to be the creators. This is all going back to them. I don't need to see their name or say their name. But they do like to make a lot of this centerpiece with a skull in it out of people like me and you that are golems. So anyway, when we look at this guy's page, right, I can't show you his page name, but I can show you part of it. So we know that this symbol represents the cube. Yeah? And that being the case, we know that the cube is 9. And if we look at the rest of this guy's page, then we know what this adds up to. And that's his page. And that's right there. And it's all of this. And if if you're feeling silly, you can always look at this little thing. Because whoever drew this knew exactly what the fuck they were talking about. You get it? You get it? This whole cube thing is disguised, and you'll see this in courtrooms. You'll see it all over the place. Usually it has a box around the outside, but these lines are really circles, and the square around it is really a circle. They just disguise it as with hard angles. Kind of like this. See? There you go. So, just be aware. That's all. Oh, and just one other thing. you know, look at people's icons. Don't go around accusing people. But when somebody's blatant like this, remember I told you red and black and white? Those are Phoenician colors. Those are Nazi colors. Hence the fucking black skull in there. But are they really Nazi colors? When this symbol really winds up being this symbol out of the Old Testament. I mean, think about it. Who's pulling whose leg here? And that this symbol is the sickle of Saturn, and here's the hammer of Thor. So now you've got communism and Nazism mixed together. Interesting. It's an interesting thought. One last thing is this thing. What is this? Well, this is a battery. It's a battery. You know how I can tell? Because that's a lead acid battery. And if you look, each one of these individual lines is a plate. And each one of these plate has holes in it. And each one of these holes is an individual battery, and this whole battery makes up the whole. See? And all of this heat is created by the energy that's being created by it. And this little guy here, with these little zigzags like the Viacom, has to do with the whole energy scheme. So in essence, basically, you're just a big walking, talking, living frickin' battery. And all this bullshit that they're doing with the blood and don't eat this and don't drink that is because they need that energy. I don't give a fuck what level it's on. They need that energy from you. You figure it out, whatever it is. I've got my own idea, and that I don't need to say everything. But the bottom line is you know about the pillars, trying to jump it. You know, everybody's a battery. You go to a stadium. What is it? That's energy that's being harvested in a special way that's being used to power things. Okay. Same thing with 9/11. All of that energy was harvested. All that energy was harvested, and it was used for this battery that keeps this thing going. I don't like to use the movie The Matrix because that's too cliche, but in a way, kinda, I think it's like that. I think we're all walking, talking, living batteries. I mean, living batteries. I don't think that we're so necessarily hooked up to a machine. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just saying, the shit's becoming more and more evident. Now, there's the cube, and there's the same cube that's sitting in the UN prayer room. Okay? And each one of those little holes. If you know what a lead acid battery, like your car battery is, when you start your car, it discharges, and then it has to charge back up. Well, to do that, something has to create the energy that goes back into these holes and fills these holes with energy, positive and negative. Okay? So really, that's what it comes down to. You know, they don't put this shit on here, and you've got all of this heat here. Why? Because it's burning off negative ions. Negative or positive ions. It's eventually, when you do that too much to a battery, eventually the battery's no good no more. So as the battery wears down from the red, from the green all the way to the red, yellow, blue, green, or whatever, the battery becomes inefficient and can no longer serve its purpose. This little guy up here is like a little ball energy that came out of one of these little squares. You see? That's energy. And that's what's supposed to be powering this thing, I'm pretty sure, that's broke. So, you can figure it out any way you want to. Just, go read up on a lead acid battery and the plates. And you'll see positive and negative, and you'll see multiple plates in there. And you'll get an idea, kind of a bigger idea, that we're kind of feeding this thing just by living. So, it doesn't take away from the Jesus thing, but it does take away from it doesn't take away from anything. Actually, it shows you how your effects affect this cube on either being positive or being negative or being in neutral.